Hey guys, I was supposed to do a tutorial on normal mapping, like, I don't know, it probably would have been about 10 months ago now. Probably something like that, I don't know. But, I thought better late than never. So I'm just gonna whip over something real basic, because I was supposed to do a gear one as well. So I mean, I'll cover a bit more shit in the gear tutorial-y thing. Not that that'll be amazing, but anyway, I'm gonna normal map something like this. The Kawasaki logo on the seat here. So actually gotta find myself a nice Kawasaki logo. You can get things off of this website called something like Logos of the World, and it's all in like EPS format or something. So you can use it in I don't know. There's a program you use it in. I can't remember the name of it. I don't use it much. It's like Illustrator. I've never really used it. Before I actually do this, I'm just gonna whip over something real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new layer. Delete this one. Half of this can be grey. So the way I'm gonna teach you guys how to do normal maps is we're gonna pretty much work off of like kind of like a height map format kind of thing. So anyway, obviously grey's gonna be a neutral. Black is gonna be the low point, and white is gonna be the high point. And I'll also draw white over here. As you can see, this part here is transparent. In a second, you'll find out what that means. I'll make a transparent one here. I'll put some black here. There's one here. Okay. So the one thing you're gonna need when you're making normal maps is a filter called NVIDIA Tools Normal Map Filter. You can probably just Google that and you'll be able to find it. Okay. The settings you're gonna use max RGB. Some people prefer biased, but it really doesn't actually work that well, as it turns out. It doesn't take into account black and white so much. Some has inverted Y's, but because of the way we do it, you just need to invert the X, because it's gonna come out pre-inverted, something like that. But anyway, just set it up like this, and you'll get a good end result. I set this to 0. You can have it set to unchanged, which pretty much means anything that's alphaed will still remain alphaed. This is really helpful for certain parts, which we'll probably get into later, but for now I'll keep it as set to 1. I have my scale at 5. I mean, 5's a pretty decent scale. You can probably have it at whatever you want. You know, we'll hit OK. Now, as you can see, give me a second. I'll duplicate this. I'll show you. I'll do it again. Okay. Now, as you can see, the black part looks like it popped up, but like I said, the game's green channel, or I think it's the Y, is inverted, so it's actually going down, as it turns out. Like I said, with the alpha part, alpha is the equivalent of white for some reason, meaning it really doesn't do much. So it's always a good idea to have grey as your background. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. So we'll move on. Anyway, we have our Kawasaki logo. I'm going to scale it down dramatically because it's too big. It's just too big. I'll double click this and it'll show me the actual pixel size. And it's still too big, so I mean, scale this to like 60. You know, that's like a good size. Get rid of our background. Actually, no, we won't. We'll keep our background. as you can see, something that tends to happen when you get logos off the internet is it'll have like a white background, or maybe it'll have a black background. If I was to invert it, it would have a black background. In order to get rid of this, we are going to go up to select color range, and then we'll click white for our color range. We'll have fuzziness at like 100. Sometimes you need to play around with this, but anyway. And then we'll just hit delete, and then hopefully that should have gotten rid of all to an extent. Come up to levels, and then we'll swipe this all the way across to 255, and that'll get rid of the black. It's a bit of a cheater method, but it should be right. Anyway, duplicate our logo, and now we're going to make a couple files. This one can be our height map. The other ones now. So obviously we want it to look like this, which means that we're going to need a black background, black being the lowest point, and then we're going to need the Kawasaki part to be white. So if we hold control and click the thumbnail, it'll select that Kawasaki part, make a new layer, and we make that white. So, yep, looks good. The other thing is it has this kind of outline to it, so we're just going to draw that up quick smart. Something like that, and then we're going to remove the chunk in here, and yeah, looks kind of similar. And make a new layer, and we're going to make this chunk nearly white. It's going to be very close to that color, so something like 235. That way it won't have as much pop as the actual logo, because when you look at it, the logo itself doesn't pop off of that very much, just a smidgen. Anyway, so this is going to be our height map, and you also notice that there's like a little indent that goes around for the stitching. I mean, we could half-ass that really quickly. We could stroke inside, nope, there, stroke inside at something like 6. Use a gradient. Actually, there's a few gradient sets we can use here, but we'll set that at 70. Set this at 71. That is that color range. Is it like that? And then we're gonna make this one full black. This one here full black. Hit OK, hit OK. As you can see, it's kind of stroked the line and around here, so that'll be a low spot as well. Anyway, we'll duplicate our height map, and then we'll merge it, and this can be our norm. Anyway, so we need to bake this now, and in order to bake this, we go filter, NVIDIA tools, normal map filter. We set this up earlier, but have it on max RGB. We hit OK, and yep, it should come out like that. So as you can see around the outside here, it's kind of indented a lot more than the actual word itself, but we are going to change it up a little bit. So we're going to duplicate this layer, set it to overlay, and we're going to go filter, blur, surface blur, and we are going to just blur it a little bit. Yep, and that'll make it pop a little bit. Just make it pop just a little bit, and then we'll go filter, blur, Gaussian blur, or whatever you want to call it, and we'll set that at 2. Overlay that, merge it down, duplicate it again, and we will probably go up to 4. Set it to overlay, and then Actually, that's a little bit too much. So we will probably set that to 2 again, or maybe 3. Set it to 2 again. Yeah, looks good. Now that that's done, we're going to go filter, video tools. I'm going to go to normalize only, and this will make it kind of fix some of the really high spots and the really low spots. So that's pretty much our normal map, but we have a small problem here. As you can see, underneath our seat we are going to have kind of a bumpy texture, which I can simulate quite quickly by doing this pattern overlay. Looks like a seat mesh, doesn't it? This part's not really that important, so I'm not going to really walk you through it too much, but so anyway, so let's pretend that that's our seat mesh, kind of like how you got all the bumps on the seat here, and we have our height copy. Now, if we overlay that, it looks fucking horrible, right? Like, it's just no good. So let's set it normal, and this is probably a bad way of doing it, but just grab your wand tool. That's pretty magical, and just click outside here, and then we'll just hit delete, and then yeah. So it looks very similar now, as you can see. You got your bump up here on the edge, but you still have your fabricy texture there, like in here. So anyway, that's pretty much your normal map done, but we can't really use that as anything, to be honest. So we'll just duplicate that and we'll rename it color. Quick smart. Okay, so the logo's white, we'll keep that white. This part here is black, and obviously there's no background. Actually, I'll change this real quick. Color overlay. Is this to multiply? It's a bit darker. So that kind of looks like a seat, doesn't it? No, not really, but I guess. So anyway, we don't need that, and this here needs to be black, but we don't actually want it to be black, because if you watch my other tutorial, I would have told you that in game, pure black is too black, and pure white is also too white. So we'll set that at 15, and we'll just grab the paint bucket, paint it. And then we'll also have to change our stroke that we made earlier. So this white part here is going to need to be the same as that, which is 15, not 16. And same for this white part here. Change it to 15. I'm going to actually leave that as black, so it has a bit of an indent there. Okay, we still have one small problem. The white's still too white, so if we actually go images, adjustments, levels, we can move this down and it will darken our white up a little bit. There we go. So that's pretty much it, to be honest. I'll drag this into here. So that'd be our, this is what it would look like on the diffuse, and that's what it will look like on the normal map. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. I'll show you a quick picture really fast. This is something I made based on stuff Jarvis told me. So pretty much This one
Message
represents
received.
out, this one represents in. And if we come over to our channels, on our red channel we have, hang on a second, I will do something. Hide that. Hide that really quick. I'll make a blank layer just so you can see better. Okay, we'll come into our channels. On our red channel, you'll notice on the far left it's white, far left's white, and then on the green it's white, which means that that part will stick out. And for in, obviously it's pretty much the inverted. You'll have the two white lines up top. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Hopefully you learned something. I'll do a second tutorial just after this one. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully. Anyway.